The passing of Raila Amolo Odinga really has shaken Kenya to its core. This was a man who, never actually wore the presidential crown, but for decades was the absolute heart of the opposition. His passing has left a void so big it's actually hard to fully grasp. So, what we're going to do here is break down the political earthquake his death has triggered, what it means for his party, ODM, and really for the future of Kenya itself.
And to really get a sense of just how big this loss is, we have to start with these powerful words. They're not from an ally, they're from President William Ruto, Raila's fiercest and most recent political rival. I mean, when a man's biggest opponent praises him like this, it just shows you the sheer scale of the loss. This wasn't just another politician. This was, as Ruto himself said, a titan. And yeah, the departure of a titan like that, it really is the end of an era. For millions of Kenyans, Raila wasn't just a name in the news. He was an institution, a symbol of the fight for democracy. That's why so many of his followers called him the people's president. See, to get why his absence creates such a huge power vacuum, you've got to look at his history. Raila was right at the center of the fight against single-party rule. And that struggle, it cost him years of his life, locked away in detention without a trial. He was absolutely instrumental in shaping the democratic Kenya we see today. And that's why his absence isn't just a loss, it's a fundamental shift in the country's entire political landscape. But, his legacy is not that simple. It's complicated. And to understand the chaos that erupted right after his death, we have to look at the very controversial political situation he left behind, specifically a deal that was already causing some deep divisions inside his own party. Okay, so this deal was called the broad-based government. It all came out of those huge youth-led anti-tax protests back in 2024. To try and calm things down and stabilize the country, President Ruto and his great rival, Raila, formed this alliance. They even brought key opposition figures into cabinet positions. I mean, it was a political truce that nobody saw coming. And here we have it. In his own words from just a couple of months ago, Raila himself sets the timeline. He's crystal clear. This was a tactical deal, a working arrangement with an expiration date, up to 2027. Now, this detail, it becomes absolutely crucial in the power struggle that's about to unfold. But here's the thing, the public was never really sold on this. Polling from Tifa Research shows that even while Raila was still alive, opposition to this deal was huge, and it was growing, jumping 10 points in just a few months. A clear majority of Kenyans were looking at this with a lot of skepticism. And when you dig into why people were so skeptical, it gets really interesting. The biggest reason by far, at 37%, people thought the deal was all about personal gain for the leaders, not for the public. Another 27% felt it actually weakened democracy by gutting the opposition. So this wasn't just a political disagreement, it was a deep public cynicism about the whole thing. And boom, with Raila's passing, all that simmering cynicism just explodes into open warfare inside his own party, ODM. The leader is gone, and the pact he created has become the fault line for a massive battle for who takes over next. The party is in total turmoil. So you've basically got two main camps fighting it out. On one side, you have the establishment. They're led by Raila's brother, Oburu Odinga, who's now the acting leader. They want to stick with the deal with Ruto. And on the other side, the reformists. This group includes powerful voices like Raila's daughter, Winnie Odinga, and the party's Secretary General, Edwin Sifuna. They're questioning the pact and demanding a total reset for the party. And this isn't just talk. I mean, people are making moves. The establishment acted fast to make Oburu the official leader. But right away, Winnie Odinga shot back, publicly calling for a full party convention to decide the future. Then Edwin Sifuna drew a line in the sand, saying he'll quit if the party backs Ruto in 2027. And now, a group of life members is trying to get Oburu removed. It's escalating, and fast. So at the end of the day, this whole fight comes down to one massive question about the party's very identity. Should ODM honor Raila's final political deal and keep working with the government? Or should it tear up that deal, reclaim its old role as the fierce opposition, and forge a totally new path? To really wrap your head around this dilemma, you've got to understand that Raila was, above all, a pragmatist, a master of the deal. Look at his career. He made alliances with his biggest rivals, Moi, Kibaki, Kenyatta, and then finally Ruto. Each one was a strategic move, usually to bring stability after a big crisis. But these deals always came with a price tag. They diluted his party's identity as a government watchdog. And now, His successors are left to grapple with that very complicated legacy. And look, this isn't just some internal party squabble. The fallout from this ripples way, way beyond ODM. The fall of this political titan has created a huge vacuum in national politics, and it's left Kenya's entire future feeling pretty uncertain. I mean, the consequences here are massive. First off, there's no obvious person to lead the national opposition. Some analysts think that vacuum could be filled by new youth-led mass movements. For President Ruto, a broken ODM creates all sorts of uncertainty for his re-election plans in 2027. And maybe most importantly, without a powerful watchdog like Raila, there are real fears the government could become a lot less accountable. And you know, there's a really haunting piece of history that hangs over all of this. Many are worried that ODM, a party built so strongly around one man, could just fade away. It happened before to the party founded by Raila's own father, Ford Kenya, which fell apart after he died. It's an existential question. Can a party so defined by one person survive without them? And man, this quote from Salim Loan, one of Raila's longtime advisors, I mean, it just hits the nail on the head. This isn't just a political reshuffle, it's a fundamental change in the character of the entire nation. The Kenya that we knew, with Raila Odinga at its political center, it's just gone. Which leaves all of us with the one single defining question. For decades, the answer was always Raila Odinga. But now that towering figure is gone. A new generation of leaders is fighting for control, the public is watching with a healthy dose of skepticism, and a whole nation is holding its breath, wondering who, if anyone, can possibly fill the void he left behind.